other than our mayor of the city.
You know, I saw my name on the program, but I didn't realize I was coming up right this time. Anyway, I want to say just a few words tonight before we all go our separate ways this evening. But I'm sure that you were like me. You have this big lump in your throat as you see all of the children up here and all the things that they've been doing and all the great things that have been happening in our community because of people like you. And I want to thank all of you for supporting in one way or another everything that Homework Night stands for, everything that is being done, and all of the good things that these children are experiencing right now are due in large part because of what you have helped to contribute, and your support has been something very, very special. As mayor, one of the things that I get to do is I get to go around the community and I get to go to different things and see different things. And I'm really amazed at the mosaic of this community. I heard that analogy drawn by a minister a couple weeks ago, and he talked about the great artist that is putting together this mosaic. He takes the individual pieces and puts them together. No one can quite figure out the pattern. The artist knows how they go together. The artist knows how to blend them together. And once the artist is finished, it's a beautiful picture. Life is somewhat like that. And what you're a part of here is putting together a grand mosaic of this community. And if you could stand up here and see what I see, not only what you've seen up here tonight presented to you, but see what I see. I would almost go to each table and call you by name. All of the ones who are making a difference in the life of this community in so many different ways. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to end my remarks this evening with a short story. It's a story about a man who died and went to heaven. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when you get to heaven, you're given an audience with God. And you get to sit down with God and you get to ask Him anything you want to ask Him. But the requirement is that you ask all your questions. Okay? Well, Thibodeau died. Believe it or not, Thibodeau went to heaven. And so Thibodeau goes in his room and he sees a little card on the pillow, and it has his appointed time to go sit down and talk with God and ask God all his questions. Well, Thibodeau goes in and he's all excited and he sits down with God and he talks to God, and God asks him about all those Boudreaux Thibodeau jokes and if he really thought they were funny. And Thibodeau said, yeah, he thought they were funny. And they have a good conversation. And Thibodeau was really impressed by not only the wisdom of God, but he was impressed by God's humor and by His grace and by His love and just the warmth of the Spirit of God. And so he gets up to walk out, and God says, whoa, wait a minute. Thibodeau, you forgot. You've got to ask all your questions. And so Thibodeau says, no, man. He says, Lord God, he says, you're awesome. I got all the information I can handle right now. It's beautiful. Life is wonderful. You're great. I can't believe you could put it all together the way that you did. And God says, no, you got to ask your questions. So Thibodeau says, you sure I got to do that? He says, yeah. He says, I'm God. You got to do it. So Thibodeau sits back down and he asks him the question. It's a question that a lot of people ask. Thibodeau said, well, God, why was there so much pain? Why was there so much suffering? Why was there such a struggle for so many in so many different situations? You know, what was it? What are you thinking about? And God said, well, Thibodeau, he said, you know, I had a plan for that. So God even has a Cajun accent. And God said, you know, I had a plan for that. And Thibodeau said, well, yeah, what was that? And God looks at him, pauses for a moment, and he says, I sent them you. I sent them you. Now think about it. I sent them you. Whatever it is that you feel a need to do something about, I would suggest to you that there's a need that was planted in your heart for a reason. We can't all be Willie King. Wanda says, thank goodness. But we all have something that we can do. And we all have a difference that we can make. And let me share one other thought with you. If all we do, throughout all this effort, through all of the energy and all the homework nights and all of the everything else that we do, if all we do is save the life of one child, it is worth it. It is worth it. And the rest of the story is, it is a good story. You can save a lot more than one. And you have done it already. Willie is doing it. He's continuing to do it. And it is a privilege and an honor for me to be able to look out across the community, not just of Lake Charles, but the community of Southwest Louisiana. And know that today and in the days ahead, there will be people like you giving and sharing and making a difference. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful. And I thank you for this evening.